and welcome to Love Always Self. I'm Shyra.
Hi, y'all. I'm Karista, and thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Love Always Self.
Hi.
Hi, and happy holidays to
Happy
everybody
holidays.
joining us. We are so excited that you decided to celebrate a little bit and spend a little time with us.
Hey, thank you.
Yes.
And thanks to the new subscribers. We are watching. Super excited to have you. And if you have any questions, you're always more than welcome to comment below. We do make a solid attempt to get at every single comment that is on there. I think there's one that I haven't responded to yet, and it's only because I was super confused by the question.
I really swore that you responded to it, but that's
Yeah.
okay. But I don't know if you actually like answered the question or kind of like
Pondered on it.
Yeah. It wasn't a very clear question anyway. So
Yeah.
you know what?
It was like
It's what it is.
It's like a true ponder for like a while.
And if you have any feedback, any critiques that you'd like to give us, you can send us an email at contact@lovealwaysself.com.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Or even suggestions. What do you want to hear about? We'll be more than happy to cover that.
Yes.
Oh, how was your week?
It went by really fast. It was good. Yeah. I strained my back on Sunday, so that was fun, just putting on shoes. So apparently I should engage my core a little more. But that's resolved or mostly recovered now, so that's been nice. I tell you what was really nice about that. My dear sweet husband cooked and cleaned while I sat on the couch.
Well
and it was
done,
fantastic. So thank you for that, babe.
Yeah. Honestly, I forgot. And I was like, give me a hug when you got here today. And I'm like, oops.
Oh, that's okay, because I'm okay now.
Oh, okay. I was like, oops. Just till now.
Yeah. What about you? How was your week?
Week has been good. I am working through quite a bit of things that we're going to touch on today. But other than that, it's actually been a pretty good week. I've gotten a lot accomplished. I am shocked with the amount of things that you and I as well have been able to accomplish together. Stay tuned. But
it's almost time to reveal soon.
It is almost time to reveal soon. So
maybe for the New Year episode.
I think so.
Yeah?
I think that'd be a good idea.
Okay, we'll do that. Stay tuned for the next episode then.
So exciting. It's actually interesting because all of these like little things are happening behind the scenes and literally behind the camera
as well. There's a collection of things that are occurring or accumulating behind the camera. Yes, absolutely. You know, that makes me think of like all the things that have been kind of in the works right now as we're recording this for like my husband's birthday. And he like has no idea what I have planned. And by the time this episode airs, he will know. But it's just been a lot of behind the scenes work, you know, and there's been so many things I wanted to like divulge to him because I wanted to vent, but I can't. Not yet.
Those are always fun. And I know what you don't know at the time of this recording. So happy birthday and surprise. That's amazing. Well, I'm going to go into a little bit of a story time about this morning. It has a lot to do with our conversation for today. So this morning woke up. I was actually in a really good mood this morning when I woke up. I have noticed that all of my very vivid dreams that I'm remembering very clearly, they have a same theme about them. And a lot of that has to do with letting go or accountability. But let go is very prominent. I'm actually seeing like a ton of different people post something about let go. And that seems to be a repeated theme. Patience, let go. It's almost like they're trying to tell me something. You think? But I'm like, let go of what? What do you want me to let go of?
Right.
Be more specific. So anyway, digressing. This morning I was heading into work and I don't know what happened. It was almost like some kind of transition within me occurred. And so my husband left. He usually leaves before I do. He left. And then after he left, that's kind of when things just went like downhill.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was super weird. I couldn't get my dog to cooperate. I usually put him upstairs before we leave the house. He's a little destructive when no one's around. And so he wouldn't cooperate this morning, which was weird. He doesn't normally do that. He normally goes straight to where he's supposed to go. And I was like trying to leave and be on time. I get in the car, I start the car, I go to back out, and somebody was like blocking the back of my driveway. Like their car pulled right in front of my driveway. That wasn't for me or wasn't purposeful or anything, but I was like sitting there just waiting. And then I finally like had to honk my horn, like, hey, you need to move. I'm trying to back out. And then after that, I get on the road. And as I'm driving down my street towards the first stop sign, another car decides to back out of their house like super rapidly. Like I had to slam on my brakes. And they pull out in front of me. And then they took a while to put themselves back in drive and do like a 5-point turn to like
go the other way.
To go the other way. So now they're in front of me and they're going super slow. But I've never seen anybody back out of their driveway that fast. You know? Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting here like, what is happening?
And really testing your patience.
Dude, it just kept going from there.
Yeah.
You know, I went in to the stop sign after the person in front of me that was going super slow takes a left. And all of a sudden, and my neighborhood is never busy at this intersection, ever. Everybody was out. I could not get across this street for the life of me. And I was like, what in the world? And so by the time I did turn, mind you, this is just like a couple of blocks down the road from my house. I was getting like super panicked. And I was feeling this like anxiety building up and frustration, right? And I get down to the next major intersection before getting onto the highway. And this SUV decides to pull out in front of me and is like literally going 10 miles per hour. And I was like, what? No, that's not possible. Not the same car as the other one. And I was like, this isn't possible, right? And then from there, this car finally turns into this like shopping center. I gun it to make the green light that was ahead of me. And as I'm trying to gun it, this massive truck that holds glass windows whips out in front of me, runs their red light and whips out in front of me. Okay, we're going to get back to that in a minute. And so then I was stuck on a 2-lane road, one way to go in one direction, one lane going another. It's kind of a little backcountry. I'm stuck behind this thing. And this thing decided to take every turn I was planning to take, right? And it's going slow. And I'm finally getting on the highway. I'm stuck behind this thing that won't speed up fast enough to even catch up with the cars on the highway. And I'm just like, what is happening? So I couldn't get over to go around it.
Yeah.
And then I finally take my exit and I had to stop and get gas. And when I went to stop and get gas, I go to turn into the gas pump and some guy cuts me off. There's like 6 other free gas pumps that have no cars at it. This guy just pulls straight in front of me. And I was like, are you kidding me? And I was like,
oh my gosh.
Yeah, this was in a span of like a 15-minute, right? And I was like, this isn't happening. No freaking way. That's not happening right now. And I was like, hold your temper, Shyra. You got this. You're a good person. Remember your words carry vibration. Because trust me, I was planning on just ripping him a new one. And so I had to take that one down a notch. And I was like, oh, you know, like, and then I go to like go inside because I never pay at the pump. I've seen way too many videos of how those things get hacked. And so I go inside to pay. And as I was going towards the door, this other guy that had like parked, he like speeds up and there was nobody at the register. Nobody. He runs in front of me, opens the door, doesn't hold it open, and goes straight to the register in front of me. So then I had to wait for him. And I was like, this is a joke. Life is a joke right now. That's what's happening. I'm going to bite my tongue. I'm not going to say anything though, because I'm a better person than this, right? Like I'm remembering this. I get to work and at my job, it's a parking garage. I get up to like the 3rd floor. I usually park on the 5th floor. And so I usually take the elevator down, because especially with this knee that's been bothering me lately. And to say, you know, today I was like, I'm going to park on the 3rd floor. I'm going to take the stairs. I'm going to do a good job, get my steps in, right? And I get out of my car. I was like, everything's good. You're in a better place now. No big deal. And I get to the stairwell and it's blocked off for maintenance. And then I had to push an elevator button from the 3rd floor. And then I had to sit there and wait forever for that elevator to get to me. I was so infuriated. I yelled in the elevator room, are you kidding me? This is not happening.
It's like a series of unfortunate events.
This is a movie. This is an absolute movie. And I've been pondering on this morning for a minute. And I was like, what could I have done differently? Am I accountable for what took place? Right? Like, we have a say in our reality tenfold, right? We do. We have a say in our reality. And I do definitely believe that sometimes. Sometimes you get tested on that thought process, like this morning.
For sure.
And then I thought about, after I calmed down, that took a minute, but like after I calmed down, that,
I'm surprised you didn't call me.
I was like, you're coming over. You're getting this story. We should probably just record this because this is so bonkers. And I thought about it for a while and I kept thinking to myself, you know what? What I had control over 100% was how I was reacting, how I was going to let it impact me for the rest of the day. That's the accountability that I can have, the responsibility. And I can hold myself to this standard, right? I can bring myself into a place of peace and love for humanity despite humanity's response to me this morning, right?
Yeah.
Like, I can do that. That's something I'm capable of doing. That's something I practice normally, right? But I was being tested. Like, are you sure? Are you sure this is how you feel like responding? Right? That's what it kind of felt like. And I remember in the elevator, I was speaking out loud. They probably have a camera in that elevator and I'm sure they saw it, but that's funny. And I was speaking out loud and I was like, I am done with the test for now. We are done. Like, we are not doing this anymore today. Okay. I got it. I understand. I didn't give myself enough time. I gave myself no buffer time to get from my house to that job. And that was my responsibility, right? You should plan ahead, understood, right? Take into account that things might not go your way perfectly.
That there's a lot of other people that are called variables.
Exactly. Exactly. But I mean, at the same time, I'm human. We respond with emotions. We respond based on any of the previous, like, programmings that we've received. And I can't stop pondering on the thought process of, if I had collectively just been a patient person from the get, and I continue to maintain this like level of patience and this thought process of things don't bother me like this, right? For like a very long period of time, would I have reacted the way I reacted internally, even though I wasn't outwardly expressing it to other people and I was doing it just with myself?
Well, frustration is a feeling, and feeling frustrated is not wrong in itself.
Thank you.
But when we treat other people poorly and like send out the negative feelers, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to say that that's wrong, but that can be harmful not only to them but to you too.
Right.
It's funny because when it comes to traffic, I feel like for the most part I can carry a lot of patience with me. Like, I just know it's going to be a shit show, or I know to expect for it to be a shit show, and if it's not, then great. I'm good. Yeah. It's kind of like going to the grocery store too. Like, I go in with a bag of patience on my shoulder as well, because I know there's going to be long lines at the checkout. There's going to be people that park their carts in the middle of the aisle. And even though they have a peripheral vision, they don't give two shits about whether or not you're walking down that aisle too. And so
True.
But even with the amount of patience that I can start a drive with, one thing after another like that, oh my gosh, like I'd be like, same place, like, what the hell is going on? What did I sign up for today?
It was bonkers. It was absolutely bonkers. From the time I would try to get the dog upstairs, literally, as soon as my husband left the house, it was just like...
You know, a word just came into mind too. And it's a word that my dad and I have been kind of talking about and just like mulling over. And it's actually to surrender.
Yes.
So
yeah,
I wonder what would have happened had you, like, in the moment where you were rushing to get through the green light, like, had you surrendered to the need to have patience and taken a breath and been like, you know what, that's fine, I'm just going to get the next one. How that would have played out from that point forward.
I'm sure that
Because
I
you wouldn't
would've-
have been stuck behind window guy.
Or I would have hit window guy had I not gotten stuck from the slow drivers prior.
Well, if you got
Yeah.
stuck at the light, right?
Yeah.
Just going off of that scenario, then you wouldn't have had to deal with the windows guy. You would have gotten to the gas pump. The other guy wouldn't have cut you off at the gas pump. And the other guy that cut you off at the register of the gas pump, you know, he would have already been long gone too.
Yeah.
And so I wonder, like, how much of it were you trying to force into what you needed to happen versus surrendering to what was happening?
This has been, like I said, this has been a ponder in my head for quite a few hours now. And I thought about that. I thought about the exercising patience, which is a result of surrendering in my mind. And then I thought about also timeline scenarios, right? The one that was chosen in those moments.
Yeah.
And what all did it actually save me from behind the scenes that I may never know about.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, I know that there is a design by every mean that happens, and I'm fully aware of that. I do want to make sure I clarify when I say design. It's not like there's like 100% roadmap. We have a ton of variables in that. So
I wonder how much of your decision to push through the light, right, was a choice to have additional lessons in patience.
oh my gosh. Like
Unconsciously, right? Like
absolutely. And I'm not going to lie, it dawned on me a little bit.
Yeah.
It sparked a thought process that didn't last very long because I let my anxiety take over. I let my irritation of the situation take over. And I had this small wager within me at that point in time while I was sitting on this little 2-lane road behind this masterful truck. And I even had like this like, oh my gosh, what if this is like a Final Destination moment? Like the fear kicked in, right? Because I sped through that light to try to get that green light. And I made it through the green light.
Only to slam on your brakes.
Only to slam on my brakes because of the truck that ran in front of me, right? Now, thankfully, nobody was hurt. Thankfully, I wasn't hurt, right? Here today to record this episode with you guys for that purpose. And it could have been a divine intervention that caused that to happen. I'll never know. Maybe that's not for me to know until I'm no longer here, and I'm cool with that, right? But I will say that I thought about it for a minute. Before, when I saw that truck fly in front of me, I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Had I not been stuck behind that SUV just a little longer because that guy ran his light, would he have hit me? You know?
Right. You know, I think it's really cool the time that you've taken to kind of reflect on not only the events, right? Not only what created the frustration or the anxiety or the fear or the irritation at patience, what, you know? But the fact that you've taken time to kind of reflect and be like, okay, hold on, where can I be accountable in this series of events?
Yeah.
And so I think that's a really, really, I want to say one of the most important things that you're bringing to the table right now. Because it's not like we can necessarily go back and change what has already occurred, but we can always reflect. And the more that we reflect, the more we're creating those different neural pathways to consider different options in the next moments. Okay. And so I think that that's a really important practice. And so great job, babe.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And not like in reflecting back, it's not like we're saying you're completely responsible for all of the events.
Right.
You were not in the SUV that drove and cut you off. You were not in the truck driving the truck with the windows in the back. You know, it's reflecting back on how you personally either could have made different decisions in the morning, leaving a little bit earlier, or slowing down and just taking the green light turning yellow as, okay, this is actually a moment that's being gifted to me to pause.
Right.
And that helps us learn how to recognize in the future these different choices that we have and how we look at things. and how we choose our different paths.
Right.
And that's not an easy feat by any means. We're literally changing habits.
It's taking me a long time to get here.
If we've had, several decades of ingraining habits deeply into our psyche, it's going to take some time and practice and patience.
She's funny.
And letting go of the old to create the new.
Ah, thank you.
But
I'm going to simmer on that one for a minute, but thank you.
for sure. We're allowed to be human, guys. We make mistakes. We make decisions that we wish we could change or, whatever it is. We're here to have those mistakes too.
I tell you what, though, best decision I ever made was being friends with this one. So thanks for the reflection. I needed that today.
Oh, I love you. You're my sister.
My sister. And I will also say that I actually appreciated when I came home from work today. I actually appreciated it more than I ever have before. Or at least in a while,
Like the drive back home.
The drive back home was actually quite smooth and nothing went awry there. And, I got here and, technology wise, everything was working. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to just bring in this abundance of gratitude, right? Mm-hmm. And I slowed myself down. I slowed my thought processes down. Now, granted, some things happened after that kind of like...
Sure. Work does that.
Yeah, distracted me from that point. But, I'm now back to it. I'm back to the slowness to like tell this story and spread this message.
And I think that's the other side of the coin too. When we have these, what we would perceive as negative events or occurrences, when they're not that and there's something better, that allows for greater appreciation of the thing that makes us feel good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it taught me something. It taught me that I'm still becoming aware of me. Mm-hmm. And I'm still learning and I'm still being taught things. And there's never going to be an end to that in any part of being a human being or any being, right? We're still learning our lessons. Mm-hmm. And I'm not perfect. And, neither is all the emotions that are carried within me from many, many years of dealing with stuff. But it's the awareness aspect. It's holding myself accountable. It is bringing my thought processes up to the front and center so I can understand them.
Yeah, because the more time that you take to recognize like what it is that you're feeling, as soon as you name it, you can start working through it. It doesn't mean it's that easy, right? But once we can actually acknowledge it rather than trying to ignore it and stuff it down and store it away in that, baggage that we carry with us, or with all the dirty underwear of things we don't want to look at anymore. Did you know that stuff ends up stinking up like your life a little bit? The dirty underwear stuffed in the baggage that you carry with you from past experiences? Sorry for the gross analogy.
Hey, I felt like I smelt it.
Yeah. Right.
Ew.
But it can stink up your relationships. Yeah. It can stink up your point of view and your ability to appreciate and recognize your choices and feel empowered as well.
I agree wholeheartedly on that.
Just get rid of it. Throw it away, guys. That's the letting go part.
That's the best. Oh my gosh. You don't need to hold on to that. It doesn't even fit anymore. Oh my gosh. Hilarious. Well, before we transition, I'm going to actually start by saying when I had a breather today, and I came in this room to like turn all the things on that you turn on to create these videos. And at first it was sunny in here because I had all the curtains pulled back and I had the window open and I could hear the birds chirping. And I was like, oh, peace, right? Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to sit in this quiet.
Yeah.
There's nothing moving besides the wind and the birds outside. That's it. And I was like, I'm going to sit in this quiet. I'm just going to like close my eyes. And I'm going to shuffle these cards and I want whatever message that comes through. It's for me and you. And it's also for the collective that's watching or listening to this. Anyway, guess what time it is, y'all? It's time for the collective card reading.
And today we are using the Moonology Oracle Deck cards by Yasmin Boland. And as you see here, we have 3 beautiful cards already shuffled and laid out. I was not here or present when you did this. I don't know. You don't ever look at them either.
I don't.
So
I didn't look at them.
it's always a surprise to us as it is to you.
You know, the third one gave me patience again. It was another introduction to patience. The first 2 popped out literally out of the shuffle onto the floor singularly. And that third one, I was actually wondering if we were going to do a third card today. I was like, okay, maybe there isn't a third card.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden that one fell to the ground. And I was like, oh, is this another patience moment?
That's funny.
So let's see what happens.
So first card is the full moon. And it says surrender to the divine.
You've got to be kidding me.
Did
right
I not
now.
say surrender?
I wish y'all could feel me at the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like if you could feel the energy that I am now I'm exuding. You kidding me?
So, full moon. The moon is at its brightest. It is reflecting all of the sun's energy down back to us, lighting our path.
I'm thinking to myself right now, these thoughts, and these thoughts are repeating loud and clear to me. The full moon is what happens usually before the new moon. Thought process of, here you are. You see everything you need to see. It's nice and bright and in your face. Now tomorrow we start anew. That's what I was thinking about the full moon for some reason.
It's all a cycle. Another thing about the full moon that I like to think about is the effect on like the water that is not only in our body, but also in our plants, in our oceans, and how the magnetism of the moon's pull is stronger. If I remember correctly, planting seeds is actually best around a new moon so that when things start sprouting, new sprouts coming out, new life, it's able to be energized as well with the moon. Otherwise, the moon kind of pulls away some of the moisture.
Ooh, she said the M word. She went
the water. And another thing that water is also connected to is our emotions as well. So emotions can be a lot more heightened as well during the full moon. If you think about, I don't know if you guys have heard this, but I know through the ER, the emergency room, there's a lot of really crazy things like meaning out of the ordinary things that come through the ER doors.
I heard that somewhere. Yeah. Oh, interesting.
It is interesting.
So in the book, The Teaching, the full moon marks the climax of a lunar cycle, making this card something of a power card. The full moon is often the time when answers are given to questions asked during the new moon. Oh, interesting. Pulling this card at any time in the lunar cycle suggests answers will be coming your way before too long. Ooh.
What I pulled from that, well, it's just really cool that they describe this as like a power card. And the fact that it says surrender to the divine, so there's empowerment in surrender in itself.
Yeah, it takes a powerful being to literally just surrender. Mm-hmm. They do have additional meanings for this card, bullet points, and I'm going to read a couple. A wish you made may be about to come true. That makes sense. It's make or break time. There could be a sense of madness in the air. Breathe deep and stay calm. Whoa.
See, that's the whole thing with the ER. And today, what?
You are not going to believe the last bullet. It's time to let go of the past and move on. I'm done.
Don't know if you saw that. If you're listening, Shyra just threw the book behind her.
I'm totally done. Unbelievable.
Well, we're not quite done yet. We're going to go ahead and get card number 2.
I don't even want to know now.
Be bold and make the first move. The Cardinal Moon.
I have no idea what that card means. So, the Cardinal Moon, huh? Mm-hmm. All right. So they have these like sections in the book for these cards, right? We've got this whole like paragraph in the front. I will not give the Yasmin Boland any discredit by reading the entire thing to you, please feel free to check out our Amazon shop if you'd like to shop for this card deck. And the book comes with it. But I will give you some of the bullet points. The teaching in astrology, there are 3 quadruplicities: cardinal, fixed, and mutual. The cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. I'm a Libra rising, y'all. Remember, we each have all 12 signs in our charts for different parts of our lives. It's just the way the astrological wheel works. Okay, I'm going to skip reading the rest of that. Oh, wait, I will say the rest at the bottom. No matter when you draw this card, it's a sign that something new is starting and you quite possibly need to take the lead on it. So some of the bullet points for the additional meanings for this card is: be bold and follow your heart and your emotions. Avoid recklessness or moving too fast.
Shyra, are you sure you cleared yourself before you shuffled these cards?
I don't think so. I feel like wow.
No,
like
we won't
screaming.
be selfish. No. Yeah.
Wow.
This is also for you guys too. So I had to pull up my astrology notes because I wanted to read about the notes that I've written about the cardinal quality. So again, in astrology, the qualities are fixed, mutable, and cardinal. The key words for the cardinal quality are action, challenge, assertion, initiation, change, and leadership. So basically, this is very much an action card. So not only are we being asked to surrender, which they've deemed as a power move, but we're also being told that we need to take some action as well. And action doesn't always necessarily mean physical. It can be meaning action going inward.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree with that statement. It's interesting because it also says, ask Ganesha, the Hindu elephant god, for help. That's something you can do. And I can't help but think about this right now, just as a small little tidbit. But when that car backed out of that driveway super fast down the road for me today, as my first third anyway, I thought of my grandmother because she had this ridiculously long driveway on the side of her house. And every time we'd get in the car with her as kids, and she'd take us with her to work, she would bolt it backwards down that driveway. And it was fun and terrifying.
Yeah.
Because she drove really slow when she got on the road, but coming out of that driveway,
so
man.
interesting.
So I definitely thought of her, and I've always utilized, because she would have those red birds on one of those stained glass circles, hanging in a window or somewhere in her house. And so I've always thought of the red birds when I see them, which aren't cardinals red birds. Mm-hmm. And so it just made me think of that again.
The connection with the cardinal moon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Love it.
She might be messing with me today, but yeah.
Card number 3, the new moon.
You're kidding.
A new start is coming.
I need y'all to see the shock on my face right now. What? What?
I mean,
what?
Didn't you say it earlier? The full moon comes before the new moon? At least in this spread.
I'm sorry, you guys. This might just be for me today. I don't know. I'm just kidding. Maybe. Yeah. Wow. I'm not even sure what to say about that right now.
Well, the new moon is a time of new beginnings, whether it's a time of self-reflection and making a decision to create a new habit, do something new and different that you would like to prolong through the month. And then the full moon is actually where we are more in that releasing state as well. So again, letting go, surrender.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I love that you're good at this. So yeah, a new start is on its way. Cool. You will soon start to feel more hopeful about getting what you want. I'm guessing awareness might be really helpful there. Your belief that your dreams can manifest is working well. Forget about the past. Just gonna close the book.
You know, what came to mind was when we're wanting to start something new or bring something different into our lives, it's not just about, wishing for it. That's not the only key to manifestation.
Right.
There are actions that we need to take. along with the daydreaming.
Mm-hmm.
And so I feel like this is kind of like that encouragement to manifest,
Yeah.
letting go of the old, being bold, creating something new.
I think that's really beautiful.
And it rhymed.
Oh my God, that's hilarious. It did rhyme. So she's got a point there. Well done today. Thanks for being my mirror. And thank you, listeners, for allowing me to have a reflective moment. Hopefully it triggered something in you to be reflective. So
You've been one of the greatest gifts in my life.
oh, see what that love looks like just in the room. Speaking of love, go ahead and hit that like, subscribe, notification bells if you'd like to be notified of any of our future content, videos, episodes.
Synonyms.
See,
Yeah.
I can't even today. Guess what? I finally did it.
We have social media, and it was before the end of the year.
I know.
We've got Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts.
Oh my gosh. I can't believe I finally updated it. Look how beautiful it is. Anyway, we also have a website, you guys.
lovealwaysself.com.
Yep.
And that's where you can also find this deck and all of our other decks. And just go to shop and then Amazon and then scroll down to the section of all of our decks.
All of the decks. They're all there. It's a beautiful website. Y'all should check it out. Seriously. Thank you all so much. And
just want to one more time remind you we love you so much. And you are also a wonderful gift to us every day. And each year that we've moved forward in this, we're actually at 2.5 years.
2.5 years. Can you believe
Isn't that
it?
crazy? And it's been a roller coaster, but it's been fun. Roller coasters are fun, unless it was like the Texas Rattler. Do you remember that? It was like
That thing, I had a crick in my neck for like 2 weeks after that thing.
I don't even know if that's still around. But anyways, I digress. We love you so much, and don't forget to love first,
Love last.
and love always.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, listener, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us in this moment. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we look forward to our next connection.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow to stay notified of new content from Love Always Self. If you have any questions or topics you'd like for us to discuss, please hit us up on any of our social media platforms linked in the show notes below.
I'm Karista.
And I'm Shyra.
And until next time, remember to love first,
Love last,
and love always. Love Always Self podcast is meant for entertainment purposes only. We do not make any warranties about the completeness, reliability, and accuracy of the information presented in this podcast. Any action you choose to take upon the information in this podcast is strictly done so at your own risk, and we will not be held liable for any losses and damages in connection with the use of our podcast. Any and all medical concerns should be addressed with a licensed healthcare provider, as well as any questions that may be derived from the information discussed in this podcast.